Our man is finished. Kagame's Rwandan state of himself collapsing. Written by David Himbara. Copyright 2025, David Himbara. All advances and proceeds for my memoir are dedicated to supporting Gabriel Ndayishimiye. Gabriel reminds me of decades earlier. I arrived in Canada as a young, broken Rwandan refugee and transformed myself into an educator. Gaby, too, arrived in Canada after surviving the Rwandan military. Forced to flee with his family, he journeyed through Burundi, Tanzania, and Malawi. This memoir comes to you thanks to Gabriel's publishing house, Livin' Books. All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced in any form or by any electronic or mechanical means, including information storage and retrieval systems, without written permission from the author, except for the use of brief quotations in a book review. Chapter 1. Madame Kagame shook hands with President Trump, later delivering a prayer at the 2025 U.S. National Prayer Breakfast. This was the highest crowning moment for the powerful woman behind Rwanda's throne. This memoir was inspired by two questions. Rwandans and friends of Rwanda keep asking me because of my 7-year service in President Paul Kagame's powerhouse. Who truly runs Rwanda? Who is the real Kagame out of the multiple and often contradictory personalities he projects? It is my pleasure to share my answers to these two questions in this book. As I demonstrate in this work, Rwanda rests in the hands of two individuals, Mr. and Mrs. Kagame, period. Madame Jeannette Nyiramongi. Kagame is the power behind the throne of President Paul Kagame's personalistic regime. Coincidentally, an event on February 6, 2025 in Washington, D.C., put a spotlight on Madame Kagame's ascendancy to power and influence. She made history, becoming the first African woman to deliver a prayer of peace at the U.S. National Breaking Breakfast. Ironically, she also became the first woman to deliver a message of peace, while her husband was making war in the DR Congo. To demonstrate my thesis that Madame Kagame is the power behind the Rwandan throne, I first discuss 5 most widespread beliefs about the exercise of power in Rwanda, demonstrating why they are mistaken. Surprisingly, as my evidence-based illustration shows, Madame Kagame's powerful role in Rwandan politics and economics is in plain view. The 5 predominant articulations about power dynamics in Rwanda and my rationale for rejecting them may be summed as follows. 1. Rwanda is a military dictatorship. This can't be. Kagame is a general without generals. 2. Rwanda is an RPF one-party regime. This can't be. Kagame is the only RPF leader left standing. 3. Rwanda is controlled by Rwandan billionaires who financed the war that put Kagame in power. This can't be. Kagame wiped them off. 4th. Rwanda is a Western colony due to the vast deployment of Westerners across the government of Rwanda. This can't be. They are scavenging for cash for whitewashing Kagame. 5. Rwanda is a quasi-multi-party authoritarian regime with a functional legislative and judicial branches of government. This can't be. Kagame appoints and dismisses the entire government. As I demonstrate in this memoir, the ruling regime in Rwanda is a highly personalistic family-run regime with the Kagame family and associated networks in total control of the state apparatus. Madame Jeannette Nyiramongi Kagame is the powerful woman behind the throne of her husband's extraordinarily personalistic power. I demonstrate that Madame Kagame plays 2 intertwined roles, the visible and the invisible power personas. The visible Madame Kagame is the founder of the Imbuto Foundation and the Green Hills Academy. The Imbuto Foundation is the largest non-governmental organization in Rwanda involved in education, health, and economic development. The foundation's partners include the Rwandan government, donors such as the World Bank and the multiple national corporations such as the MTN Telecom. With an annual income of $17 million and outreach programs that extend to over 6 million Rwandans, the Imbuto Foundation is a government in itself. Madame Kagame's Green Hills Academy is the only international baccalaureate in Rwanda and in the region. Drawing its students from over 60 countries, Green Hill Academy is led by a team of expatriates headed by an American PhD holder. The Academy's annual fee and boarding costs amount to over $7,000. Madame Kagame's invisible role is simply this. She runs the government together with her husband from behind the scenes. Her children, extended family members, and associated networks are positioned in strategic governmental entities. Crucially, the Mbuto Foundation is the breeding ground for future government ministers and President Kagame's chiefs of staff. Crucially, this book demonstrates the manner in which Madame deploys her enormous powers. Naming her the Kanjogera Reborn is appropriate, in reference to Rwanda's Queen Mother from 1895 to 1931, when she wielded exceptional political power. The similarity between the two goes beyond the exercise of power into the brutalities they inflicted upon their perceived enemies. As to the question of who the real Kagame is, among the multitude of personalities he projects, the answer is straightforward. While Kagame brands himself as a Nelson Mandela-like, incorruptible Pan-African leader determined to end poverty, the real Kagame is the extreme opposite. The real Kagame is the carbon copy of Equatorial Guinea's dictator, Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo. The two highly personalistic rulers are uniquely tied together by three characteristics. First, they turned their respective states into a family enterprise with family members and their associates in total control of strategic governmental institutions. Secondly, they feature prominently among rulers who siphon and deposit millions of dollars in offshore financial centers known for bank secrecy and private wealth management. Thirdly, they have spent millions of dollars in whitewashing public relations campaigns to cover up corruption and violence at home.